Welcome to my Pokemon Y Hardcore Randomizer Nuzlocke. The rules for this playthrough are as follows. If a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and I cannot use it anymore. I can only catch the first Pokemon on every route. Next to that, there is a level cap based on the next gym leader, so I cannot overlevel my Pokemon. I cannot use any items in battle. Important trainers have 6 Pokemon and all trainers have fully evolved Pokemon at level 40. Furthermore, to make the run more unpredictable, Pokemon, items, abilities and some other unimportant stuff have been randomized.
Here we go!
After waking up, putting on clothes, saying hi to mom, and meeting my friends in the Shadow Realm, I got to pick my starter. The options were Blissey, Aurorus, and Bouffalant. I let RNG decide, and RNG decided Aurorus, and I named her Borealis.
Aurora Borealis?
Time for the first battle against Shauna. She chose the Blissey, which gives a ton of XP, and Borealis instantly leveled up to level 9. Hi mom, bye mom. Now I could finally start my adventure on Route 2. My first encounter was a Marshtomp, which I named Whopper. And in Sandaloon Forest I caught a Torchic and named it Nugget. Furthermore, in Sandaloon Forest there were some interesting Pokemon I came across.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
On Route 3 my first encounter was a Drifblim, which I named Up. And with these 4 Pokemon I entered the first gym. One problem I had was that because of the level cap I could not use Pokemon higher than level 12 and my team was already very close to this level. And while fighting the final trainer in the gym I had to send in Whopper to deal with the Macargo, which leveled Whopper up to level 13. So I had to switch him out and I could not use him for the gym battle. So I had only 3 Pokemon for my gym battle against trainer Cristiano. I led with Up, which had to face off against the Bouffalant. The Bouffalant had Pursuit, which is super effective against Up, but I also couldn't switch because Pursuit hits for double damage when you switch. So I went for Minimize in the hope that the Bouffalant started missing. A lot. Up had miraculously survived to live another fight. Next up was a Bagon, which was an easy prey for Borealis, then a Bayleaf with the Drought ability, and then a Mega Blaziken. Would have been very nice to have a water type on my team right now, like a Marshtomp or something. I figured it had high jump kick, which would one-shot Borealis, but it could not hit Up, because it's a ghost type. So I switched in Up. So I didn't have high jump kick, which did mean I could beat this Blaziken with Aurorus Borealis. Next up was a Boldor, and lastly an Eevee, both no problem. And I got my first gym badge and a TM for Seed Flare, but all at the cost of Up dying, being sent to a nice farm somewhere. I don't live in denial. Continuing on Route 22 I caught Rave Waver the Kingler, and on Route 4 I caught another water type, Todd the Oshawott. Before I could enter Lumiose City I was stopped by Dexio and Sina, who gave me the Blizzard TM. I then decided to explore the city. First I went into restaurant Lana. Then into a random office.
Ah. Don't speak to me out of the blue. My heart beats so fast that I may fall in love with you.
Sir, I'm 12. Afterwards I went into the Pokemon lab where I had to fight Professor Sycamore. He had 6 Pokemon but all were level 10, so it was an easy fight. As a reward for killing all his Pokemon he gave me a free Pokemon. A choice between a Chatot, Electros and a Beartic. RNG decided Electros and I named her the Real Eel. Eel. I then met Lysander, who gave me the, let me pronounce this right, the Holocaster. Afterwards I did some more city exploring.
So, which do you like best? Long or short?
Sir, I'm 12. That's more than enough city for me. I went to Route 5 where I caught Yellow the Swirlix. Subsequently, Nugget evolved into a Combusken. Tierno wanted to fight, and even though he had a Rayquaza, it wasn't an exciting battle because his Pokemon were also low level. A Snorlax was blocking the road on Route 7, so I had to get the Pokeflute in the Parfum Palace. En route on Route 6 I caught a Nidoran, which I named Willy. Arriving in Parfum Palace I met a funny guy.
Wow. Get a look at these chairs. They're absolutely chairific. Get it?
I had to trap a Furfrou and watch some fireworks in broad daylight. I then could catch the Snorlax, which turned out to be Pete the Venipede. And my random encounter was a legendary, a Uxie, which after some trouble did stay in my Ultra Ball. I added Zaza the Uxie to the team, together with Willy the Nidoran. Up next was a double battle, Callum and me against Tierno and Trevor. Borealis did get hurt pretty bad, but overall it was an easy fight. There was still a long road ahead till the second gym, which also meant a ton of encounters. In Connecting Cave I caught Twinkle the Starmie. On Route 8 I caught Muffle the Cyndaquil. On Route 9 I caught a Sawsback with the color change ability, which I named Chameleon. In Glistering Cave, Mr. Chief, a Cubone with the Drizzle ability, was caught. And after beating some Team Flare members, I got a Fossil, which turned into a Chespin who I could not give a nickname. In Ember Town I caught Pengu the Prinplup. Then a random girl handed me a dowsing machine and I instantly found some interesting items. Ooh, this could come in handy. Okay, the next bikini girl named Ranger Jimmy handed me an interesting fight. They first had a Quilladin, which was no problem for my legendary Pokemon Zaza the Uxie. The next Pokemon was a Sceptile. Zaza had gotten the move Frost Breath with a TM, which always crits and is super effective against Sceptile, so I felt safe. The Sceptile went for Pursuit and did a bit of damage, while Zaza did overhalf with Frost Breath. The Sceptile then went for X-Scissor, which is a strong move and also super effective, while Zaza missed a 90% accurate Frost Breath. In the hope that Sceptile would not go for Pursuit, I tried to switch out Zaza. My legendary Pokemon. Dead so soon. It could take ages before I find a new legendary. So my next encounter was a Mew. With Transform and turned into my Combusken, I lowered its HP with the real eel, but I forgot I equipped a rocky helmet which made the Mew kill itself. Another legendary psychic Pokemon dead so soon. I might never get an opportunity, so my next encounter was a Mega Latias with the Speed Boost ability. In its permanent Mega form, it's one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. This time I was gonna be careful, but it was gonna be difficult to catch because Latias would heal. After throwing a lot of balls, I actually managed to catch it, using a timer ball. I named her Severed Steel. Finally I arrived at the second gym and I could face off against Grant. My team had changed a bit with Severed Steel and Chameleon added to the team. I led with the Real Eel, while Grant led with the Houndoom who couldn't get it going. The Real Eel lowered the Houndoom's HP, but was swapped out because of a roar. Chameleon was sent out, but I instantly switched him out for Whopper, who finished off the Houndoom. Next up was an Elgyem. I switched back to the Real Eel, who did big damage with the Crunch, but also got hit pretty hard by a Psybeam. Next turn the Real Eel crunched again and killed the Elgyem. Grant's third Pokemon was a Clawitzer, which did a lot of damage by first Sword Dancing and then Flailing, while in the meantime it got killed by the Real Eel in 2 turns. Then Grant sent out a Latios, which was Borealis' time to shine. With 2 Freeze Dry she took it out. Grant's fifth Pokemon was a Scizor. I switched in Nugget, who, even though she had a type advantage, still was losing the fight. Luckily Whopper helped out and finished the job. One more Pokemon to go, and my whole team was low. But his whole team was stay low. A relatively easy prey for Severed Steel. After earning my second gym badge I could make my way to the third gym. But first, an outfit change. On round 10 my encounter was a Mothim, which almost one-shot Severed Steel. After switching out Severed Steel I caught it and named it Mothmane. After a short and easy fight with Corinna and Geosenge Town I caught Remy the Dedenne, and in Reflection Cave my encounter was another legendary, a Kyurem. A Kyurem with the Shadow Tag ability, so I couldn't switch or run away. Chameleon would need a miracle to stay alive. But there was no miracle. Chameleon. I switched in Borealis, lowered the Kyurem's HP and caught it with 1 Dusk Ball and gave it the name Big Daddy. Making my way through Reflection Cave, Severed Steel had a somewhat scary fight with a Mega Punching Kangaskhan, but survived in the end. After getting through the cave, I could go to the Tower of Mastery, where I had another fight with Callum. Callum led with a throw, which I defeated suboptimally. I switched to Severed Steel, used Wish, got hit pretty hard, so I switched to Whopper. Whopper did some damage and then this happened. I switched back to the real eel, who delivered the final blow. The rest of Callum's team was very weak. I then got my encounter on Route 12, which were 5 Cradilies. I caught one and named him Circus. Before I went to the gym, I added Chespin the Chespin into my team and evolved it into Quilladin the Quilladin. In the gym, Corinna had a strong team. She led with the Gallade, which did go down in a long fight with the real eel. Then she sent out a Golurk. I switched to Quilladin, which got hit pretty hard by a Shadow Punch. But luckily, Golurk then decided to use Iron Defense a few times, so I could slowly take it down using Leech Seed and Needle Arm. Up next a Glaceon, no problem for Nugget. Then an Archeops. I switched to Borealis, which took an Acrobatics hit. Next turn she took an even bigger Ancient Power hit, but Borealis was able to one-shot the Archeops using Freeze Dry. Corinna's second to last Pokemon was a strong legendary, Giratina. Borealis was already low, so I switched to Nugget. Nugget instantly got hit hard. Next turn Giratina went for Destiny Bond, which was a free turn for me. Nugget used Blizzard. The next turn Giratina went for another Dragon Claw. Nugget survived and also had managed to burn the Giratina, which meant it would slowly die, and burning also lowers its attack. Superb RNG. I sent in Whopper and used Water Gun to make sure Whopper wouldn't die to Destiny Bond, while the burn took out the Giratina, and Corinna's last Pokemon was the Politoed, which killed itself using Parasol. He died doing what he loved. It also meant I had gotten my 3rd gym badge without any casualties. I then had to go to the top of the Tower of Mastery, where I would battle Corinna again, but this time a 1v1 between 2 random Mega Pokemon. If I win this fight, I get to keep the Mega Pokemon. Corinna got a Mega Pinsir, while I got a Mega Ampharos. Unfortunately, the Mega Pinsir did way over half using X-Scissor, and one Thunder Punch was not enough to take out the Pinsir. Fortunately, Ampharos got a 10% chance Paralyze, which lowers the Pinsir's speed. So Ampharos got to move first the next turn and take out the Pinsir. In honor of the battle, I named the Ampharos Para. On the road to the 4th gym on Route 12, I got another gift Pokemon, a Jolteon, which I named Zap Zap. Then in front of the 4th gym, Callum wanted to fight again, but in all honesty, he only gifted me more experience points. Gym leader Ramos was easy as well. It was even a real eel sweep, with the real eel taking out all 6 of his Pokemon.
It's a real eel sweep. It's a real eel sweep. It's a real eel sweep.
Lumiose City was having a power outage, so me, a 12-year-old girl who just left home a few days ago, was going to fix it. Team Flare was behind the power outage, and the Team Flare members had some strong Pokemon, like a Mega Gengar, and the Mega Gengar, and the Mega Gengar, and the Zygarde. Especially the Zygarde was a problem. I switched in Whopper, who got hit and trapped by a bind. Then Whopper got hit hard by a dig, but also did big damage with a 4 times effective Blizzard. Unfortunately, not enough to take out the Zygarde. And the Zygarde was faster, so it would take out Whopper the next turn. But for some reason, the Zygarde went for bind, which was not enough to take out Whopper. Whopper could then take out the Zygarde using Surf and win the fight.
NANI?!
Pengu the Prinplup joined the team instead of Whopper, and I wasn't done yet with Team Flare.
Go Team Flare, go Team Flare. F to the L to the A to the R to the E. FLARE, we bring it. You know it.
I still had to fight 2 of their bosses, Nurse Cristiano and Nurse Daniel. Both had 6 Pokemon with a higher level than my team. First Nurse Cristiano. The real eel almost did a real eel sweep.
It's almost a real eel sweep.
But when Nurse Cristiano sent out his 5th Pokemon, a Krabby, I decided not to risk it and I switched to Quilladin the Quilladin.
Go Team Flare, go Team Flare. F to the L to the A to the R to the E.
33% chance for Guillotine to hit. Unlucky, one of my most iconic Pokemon. Quilladin the Quilladin, sent to a nice farm somewhere. Then the fight against Nurse Daniel. He started with the Reuniclus, which Severed Steel took care of. Then a level 38 Florges. Florges is super effective against Severed Steel, so I switched to the real Eel. While I switched, it went for Misty Terrain. Then the next turn, Florges went for Moonblast. While the real Eel went for Discharge. I didn't have much options to switch and I was scared to lose this battle if I did, so I had to make the tough choice and let the real Eel die. Then I sent out Borealis and I went for a Thunder Wave, but I forgot Misty Terrain was up. Florges went for Petal Dance and I was still scared to lose this battle, so I had to make another tough choice and I let Borealis die the next turn, so I could get a free switch back to Severed Steel. Severed Steel air slashed and flinched the Florges next turn, and the turn after air slash didn't flinch, but Florges hit itself in confusion, which was enough. Luckily the rest of Nurse Daniel's team could be taken out by Severed Steel. Half my team dead, my starter Borealis, my favorite the real Eel, and also Quilladin the Quilladin. To replace the fallen legends and Quilladin the Quilladin, Circus the Cradily, Para the Ampharos and Mr. Chief the Cubone were added to the team. But before I could continue I had to do my favorite thing in video games. Grinding levels. While grinding, Nugget evolved into a Blaziken, Pango into an Empoleon and Mr. Chief into a Marowak. With my new team I challenged Clement, the 5th gym leader, known for his good catchphrases.
I thought you'd say that. And so, the future is now thanks to science. Come on, take care on.
He was ass. On Route 14, Callum wanted to fight again and he did almost kill Circus with his Bouffalant, but other than that he just gave me more XP. And it was already time for the 6th gym battle against Valerie. The Surskit was an easy prey for Circus. Nugget Blaze kicked the Swords Dancing Aegislash. Severed Steel breathed on the Zygarde. Air Slash the Quilladin. Surfed on the Mega Blaziken and Dragon Breath the Thunderous. So I got my 6th gym badge, following an outfit change. I had to beat Team Flare in the Pokeball Factory. The double battle against Nurse Chloe and Esteban did hurt Pangu, but not enough to kill him. So I could continue to Route 15 where I caught a Hoot Hoot, which I named Fritz. Fritz! While fighting a random trainer's Loudred, this happened. Before I could face the 7th gym, I had to clear out Frost Cavern. In Frost Cavern I caught Wab the Wobbuffet. Unfortunately, one encounter later I came across a Mega Alakazam, which would have been much stronger, as he demonstrated when I foolishly tried to run away. With only 5 Pokemon I continued the cave. This guy healed up my whole party and then I had to face Team Flare again. And in the fight with Nurse Jill, the following happened. Severed Steel faced another Alakazam which used Future Sight. Then Severed Steel 2-shot the Alakazam. Up next was a Luxray. I switched to Mr. Chief. But the Luxray used Roar and the ghost of Nugget came out. Not only was he accidentally back in the field, he also instantly took the Future Sight attack and got killed again. What are the odds? The rest of Nurse Jill's team could be taken out by Mr. Chief, Pangu and Severed Steel. And after clearing the cave, I truly sent Nugget to a nice farm somewhere. And I added Fritz the Hoot Hoot to the team. Hoot Hoot and its evolved form are normally terrible Pokemon to use, but with its randomized ability Pure Power, which doubles its attack, it has gone from a terrible Pokemon to a slightly less terrible Pokemon. I could then continue Route 17 where my encounter was a Cacturn. I gave it the name Pop Pop. In front of the 7th gym, Callum wanted to fight again. Circus killed his Meowstic and then fought his Bouffalant, a fight he barely won the last time.
It's a critical hit.
I cleared the rest of his team and Pop Pop was Circus's replacement. The 7th gym itself was a cakewalk, with Pop Pop taking out the Banette and Severed Steel taking out the rest. Then Lysander called and basically said, I'm gonna kill everyone except Team Flare. So I went to Team Flare's base where Fritz had his first fight. He took the U-turn like a champ, went for fly, missed. I do not know what I expected to happen. Pete the Venipede was added to the team. Entering Team Flare's base, Lysander was right at the entrance and wanted to battle. Luckily, he wasn't very strong. I then decided to put saving the world on hold and do some grinding to level up Pete. After leveling up Pete, I had to fight a lot of Team Flare members like Nurse Daniel, Nurse Cristiano, Nurse Cristiano, Nurse Cristiano, Nurse Cristiano, Nurse Cristiano. Then Pop Pop almost died, Nurse Cristiano and Nurse Cristiano. Then I found an Yveltal which turned out to be a Gigalith. After catching it, Lysander wanted to fight one last time. But this time he had evolved from Nurse Daniel into Man Daniel. Pengu cleaned his Leavenny, Delphox, Hydreigon and Volcarona. Para discharged the Gyarados and Mr. Chief took out the Mega Mawile. Lysander didn't take his loss very well.
I threw it on the ground.
We had saved the world, but more importantly, we could continue our quest to become the greatest trainer. And my team was unstoppable for a while, till we had to fight Tierno. I took a big risk switching in Severed Steel into a Mega Garchomp, but luckily he didn't crit and could be one-shot. And while fighting his second to last Pokemon, a Victory Bell, this happened. And his next Pokemon was an Aromatisse with the Shadow Tag ability, so I couldn't switch out Pop Pop. Pop Pop critted, but it wasn't enough to kill. And Aromatisse for some reason went for Skill Swap and I could switch out the next turn and win the fight. Trevor also wanted to fight on the same bridge and he had a Palkia. His Spatial Rend didn't do much to Pengu, but his Earth Power did. So I switched to Pop Pop. So I switched to Severed Steel who could take the hit and kill the Palkia next turn. After crossing the bridge without casualties, I had made it to the 8th gym with gym leader Wolfric. His Whiscash almost one-shot Pop Pop. And he also had a scary Swords Dancing Scissor, but that wasn't enough to stop me. One challenge left to become the greatest trainer, the Elite Four. But first I had to get through Victory Road where Callum wanted to get beat one last time. And he did get beat hard. Only his Bouffalant gave me a small scare. The rest of Victory Road went smoothly as well. Pete, Mr. Chief, Severed Steel, Para, Pop Pop, Pengu and I were all ready to face the Elite Four. First up was Weightlifter Joe. Her third Pokemon was a level 63 Rayquaza. I switched to Pengu who got critted. Next turn the Rayquaza used Dragon Dance while Pengu hit the Blizzard and one-shot it. Next was an Azumarill. I switched to Para and decided to use Calm Mind to set up. Then this happened. Weightlifter Joe's last Pokemon were no problem and I went to fight Weightlifter Daniel. His level 65 Audino did big damage on Pop Pop, but the rest of his team was no threat. The third Elite Four member was Weightlifter Jessica, another weak Elite Four member who couldn't challenge me. The last Elite Four member was Weightlifter Jasmine. Mr. Chief killed her belly drumming Snorlax. Then she sent out a Pelipper who did big damage on Para, so I switched to Severed Steel who won the battle. Up next was a color changing Tyranitar. Severed Steel couldn't win the battle, so I switched to Pop Pop. Then this happened. So I switched to Mr. Chief who killed it with a Mega Horn. The rest of the team could be killed by Severed Steel. The Elite Four had been defeated, but there was one battle left against the champion, Clerk Rachel. She led with a Kingdra, no problem for Severed Steel. Then a Sableye which was taken out in 2 turns by Pop Pop. Her third Pokemon, a Yanmega, was Para's time to shine. Then a Throw, an easy one-shot for Severed Steel. Her second to last Pokemon was a Pavilion. I sent out Pete. Then the Pavilion got greedy and Pengu could kill it. One more Pokemon to go, a Mega Medicham.